Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Anthony Joshua secured a points victory over Jermaine Franklin this past Saturday night. Right. There's an overreaction for me. There really is. A lot of people calling for AJ to retire and his team should be honest with him. Right, he's doing it for the money. Yes, of course he's doing it for the money. Right, Anthony Joshua is not the same human being as he was 5 years ago. Neither am I. Neither are you. He's not the same sportsman or boxer as he was 5 years ago. Neither is a lot of boxers. People change. You get beat, you lose. You have more wear and tear on the body. You have different trainers, right? Look at Vladimir Klitschko. He changed his style. Lennox Lewis to an extent. Fighters in the heavyweight division, right? As they get older, they get more cautious, right? Because it's different to the other divisions. It takes 1 second and your lights are shut out. That's it. Right? Yes, that can happen in other divisions, but it happens more in the heavyweight division. It takes that 1 split second, right? And as you get older and as the fame comes and you've got more responsibility, you've got more to lose. So you will be a bit cautious, right? And for me, the overreaction is like people calling him to retire. Why on earth would you want this guy to retire? Why? Right, it's fascinating to see what's going to happen with him. I'm watching that on Saturday night, right? Okay, it wasn't a firefight or a slugfest, but it wasn't boring. It was absolutely fascinating to see what was going to happen because I was watching it like this. You're thinking, is AJ going to get counted and knocked out here? Right, you're thinking the first half of the fight, he was a bit cautious. Right, he was a bit stiff. He was a bit flat-footed. He wasn't committing with the right hand so much. Right, and what Franklin was doing, as soon as AJ threw the right hand, he was coming back with fast counters. And it took AJ a few rounds to figure that out. And you could see once it went past his 6th round, he got more confident. And he was throwing the right hand more. And it was like he knew what Franklin was doing. He figured that out. He figured that out as soon as he was overreaching with the right hand, Franklin would come back with the counters. And he worked that out. He was going to the body. He hit Franklin with good right hands towards the end. And he won the fight convincingly. Okay, granted, he didn't blast him out in a few rounds, but he won the fight convincingly. Franklin is tough as they come. That guy's chin, I'm telling you, right, he took shots, just ate them, just completely ate the shots like he was eating a biscuit. Literally, just uppercuts, real hard uppercuts. And AJ can punch, took him, and came straight back, right? So he's a scrappy fighter. He makes it dirty, He's small and stocky, and I think that style AJ struggles with. You can see small fighters, right, fast fighters, he struggles with. Povetkin, Usyk, now Franklin, Ruiz. You can see him thinking. It's like he's trying to pin his target down, and you can see he's thinking a lot. Right, so I think that kind of fighter, that style, he does struggle with. He's shown it in the past, right? But I think there was a lot to take from Saturday night. The thing that I was very impressed with was that he went 12 rounds. He seemed to have got stronger as the fight went on. Because a lot of us did think if he went past 6 rounds, you know, AJ coming in at the highest career heaviest weight, maybe he could gas out. But that wasn't the case. And a lot of people aren't giving him credit for that. He did look stronger. He reserved his energy, right? And he looked strong as the fight went on. What do I think about the fight? As I say, I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, is he going to get knocked out here? But I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm captivated to see what is going to go on here, you know? And I thought it was decent. I thought it was a decent performance. Yes, we can pick the bones out of it and we can say he's very hesitant and he's not the fighter he was, but he's not going to be the fighter he was 5-6 years ago, right? Let me tell you something. Do you know what would kill your desire in boxing? Right? And people might not agree with me, but this is my opinion. What will kill you is money. Right, we've all heard that saying, it's hard to go running in silk pajamas. In any other industry, money makes you motivated, it gets you out of bed. But with boxing, because you have to train so hard, when the money's in and you're a multi-millionaire, it can be difficult to train, it can be difficult to put everything into boxing. You know, it can be difficult to have that killer instinct because you're mature, you've got businesses, you've got people you're responsible for. People depend on you. You know, you've got millions everywhere. People are hacking you all the time. People are calling your phone. You know, you've got a lot of business interests, right? So that is going to play a part. There's only very few fighters And there's really not many that money doesn't affect. We've seen traditionally in the past Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, Prince Nassim Hamed. When the money started coming in, they weren't the same. The only fighters that I can think of is Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo, those type of fighters who have just remained dedicated throughout their career. That's hard to do, man. It's hard to do, right? So I think that you've got to cut AJ. You've got to cut AJ a bit of slack, right? Is he the best fighter in the world? No. So what? Right? Is he going to beat Tyson Fury? Probably not. So what? Doesn't mean I don't want to see those fights. I want to see the Wilder fights. I want to see Joyce. I want to see Zhang. I want to see Fury. It's fascinating. Why do you want this guy to leave the division? Let me tell you something, right? It's going to be an extremely long time before another heavyweight has the success that Anthony Joshua has, right? And I'm talking about starting boxing so late and having the success, right? Starting boxing at 19, you have no business winning world titles. You don't. You have no business. Never mind Olympic gold medals and being one of the most successful fighters in the world. That's not meant to happen when you start boxing so late. This guy's had tremendous success, tremendous, right? And he's not the most talented in the world. He says that. I've heard him say in an interview that he's not about talent, he's about hard work. So let that sink in. He said he's not about talent, he's about hard work, right? And he said that himself. He's not as talented as Usyk. He's not as talented as Fury. He's not got the engine to keep going for 12 rounds, at a high rate, right? So what? I think a lot of people just want to hammer this bloke, and I just can't understand it. He brings excitement, right? So what? He's not the fighter he was 5-6 years ago, right? Doesn't mean that he can't be in great fights. Is he doing it for the money? Absolutely, of course he's doing it for the money. Who wouldn't? If the zone knocks on your door and says, here's 500 million for 4 or 5 fights, you're going to take it, right? Who wouldn't take that? It's as simple as that. You're going to take it, right? And it's just, for me, cause for retirement. It's just premature. It's just premature. Why? This is not a fighter who's absolutely shot to pieces, where if he takes a punch, his jaw's gone. I think it's a myth that AJ's got a glass jaw, right? If you've watched him throughout his career, it's not like he gets hit on the chin and bang, he goes on the floor like Audley Harrison or Amir Khan, great fighters, but the chins were iffy, weren't they? Right? I've seen even against Ruiz in the first fight, he got up. He got up. Okay, he got stopped eventually, but he didn't get hit with one punch. He kept getting up. So the referee called it off. Klitschko, he got up. Usyk, he took shots. He took shots last night. This is not someone who just his jaw's completely shot to pieces. That's just not the case. So I think there's an overreaction here, right? Those positives you can take from that. You can see that he was working on body mechanics, boxing fundamentals, where he was rolling with punches, he was slipping, he was going to the body and coming to the head. You could see that in the first 6 rounds, you could see he was working on that. And then it was like after the 6th round, he had the confidence to throw the shots, to throw more venom in it, right? So I don't really have an issue with the performance. Okay, you didn't blast him out, but it wasn't like, right, I'm watching this and he's shot to pieces. I just didn't get that. Right? And I think there's a lot more to come from AJ. And as I say, so what if he doesn't beat Tyson Fury? So what if he doesn't beat Wilder? I think he's got a shot against Wilder all day. Right? And you put him in with any heavyweight, of course he's got a chance. He's a strong man. And he's got ability. This is not someone who's got no type of ability, right? When he puts his shots together, he's explosive, right? He's fast, he's strong, he's explosive. Does he have to get some confidence back? Yes. Like any fighter does when you lose 2 in a row. The golden rule in boxing, when you lose, you win your next fight. Doesn't matter how you win it, doesn't matter if you knock the person out, if it's a stinker, it doesn't matter, you win the next fight. Then you go on and you keep rebuilding. Right, and it is a bit of a rebuilding process. So what is 33, is he, or 35? I think he's 33. So what? Right, you got to remember, in boxing years, he's not a veteran of the game. Because he started so late, he's still catching up. to that fighters who are started at 6 years old, 7 years old. Do you know what I mean? So he's still trying to learn. And yes, he's the fighter who takes information in, and he has to look for information and absorb that information and try and implement it. Okay, that's the way he works. So what? We all work differently. Fighters take information and whatever works for him. He's got him to this stage so far, right? And I think there's a lot of good fights for him. I want to see him. He brings excitement. That ring walk was cold. The atmosphere was electric at the O2. I'm not saying atmosphere like that for a very long time. Believe me. Now, the O2 can get full, but sometimes it might not have the atmosphere like that. It did. Right, and AJ brings that. There's a reason people call him out and they want to fight him. Do I think he's still the biggest draw in the heavyweight division? I think he is. I think people might laugh at me like that. Commercially, I'm not saying he's the best fighter in the division, but commercially, he brings eyeballs, right? He brings eyes to you, right? Whether you like him or not, you're going to watch him, right? And I think it's fascinating to see how this is going to play out. I think it's absolutely captivating. Is he going to keep improving under Derrick James? Is he completely shot? Is he going to start knocking people out? You know, these are things that are going in your head. How's he going to deal with this style? What's going to happen if he fights Joyce? I'd love to see that fight. I'd absolutely love it. Forget about undisputed belts. Could you imagine Joyce and AJ? What a fascinating fight. Will Joyce just be too much for him in the end? It'd just be an absolute war. You know, the Wilder fights, sign me in. Sign me up. I want to see him. Tyson Fury, I want to see that. Okay. I said a few days ago, I don't really want to see it with the circus that comes with the promotional teams rabbiting on and the negotiation, the crap we've got here every day. But if that fight gets signed, I'm all in. I'm going to watch it. Zhang, I'd like to see him fight him. You know, there's so many fascinating fights for him. Right? He can't go into a Fury fight next. That's just ridiculous. If he's doing that, he's just cashing out for me. I don't think that's going to happen. Be sensible, fight Dillian Whyte in the summer, and I'd get another fight in December, and then bang, see where you are then, right? Could he go straight into these fights, Wilder and Fury? Yes. Do you want to on the back of the performances he's had? No. You know, get some confidence. You know, Deontay Wilder's been knocked down. Deontay Wilder's been hurt. You know, people don't say he's finished. People don't say he's shot. Yes, he came back and he came back with a devastating knockout, right? But there's a lot of criticism for AJ. He gets it all the time, right? This guy has been unbelievable for not just UK boxing, for boxing worldwide, right? This guy makes you want to watch boxing. He brings eyeballs to boxing, right? Every little thing he does, he gets criticised for, right? I'm not looking at AJ's arse. I'm just giving my opinion here. I mean, I look at him and I think this is a guy who's come from nothing, right? And it's easy to mock that and it's easy to disregard that. But let me tell you something. Where he's come from and when he started boxing, he has no right to be where he is. He has absolutely no right to be where he is, right? I get inspired by that. I look at that and I think, that inspires me. I don't look at that and hate and say, this guy's an idiot, or he's media trained, he's a fraud. What do you mean he's a fraud? You know, he goes in and he fights, right? He fought Usyk twice. The thing with AJ, even when he loses, he's still making money, right? People laugh when I say he's the biggest draw in the division. Look what his purse is. Look what he made in the last Usyk fight. Who's making that kind of money? Believe me, right? Ridiculous amounts of money, which we'll probably never know how much the Saudis paid him in that rematch. But he lost and he's still making big money. And that is a bit of kryptonite for AJ because, as I say, money will kill your desire, right? It will kill your desire. And it does look like he is doing it for the money, right? But who isn't at this stage of his career? You know, he's won world belts. He's won gold medals. Of course, he's doing it for the money. Right, telling him to retire is just ridiculous. This is not a fighter who looks like he's on his last legs. I mean, Jesus, we just saw a 54-year-old Roy Jones fight at the weekend. You know, a 33-year-old AJ. He's got plenty of years left. Let's enjoy him when he's here. Because let me tell you something, when he's gone, right, a lot of excitement will go from the division. Let me tell you, he'll be one of those fighters where when he's gone, he'll get more appreciated. Right? We're not saying he's the best fighter in the world. He doesn't say that, right? But this is a guy who dedicates himself and wants to fight. And I want to see him in the big fights. Like, that's it. I want to see him. We can pick the bones out of the performance, and we all do it. But I just think we're itemizing it too much. Right? He's with a new trainer. I don't care who you are. You can't just gel with a trainer in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It takes time. Right? It takes fights. You've got to get those rounds in, which from a boxing central have done him the world of good to get those rounds, to get the instruction with Derrick James, to click in the fight scenario. It's different in training. It's different in sparring. When you're fighting under the lights, when you have all that energy, the fans are there, it's different. Right? And he was taking the information in, and you could see when Derrick James was saying, commit more with the right hand, he was. Right? He was committing more. I like the work he was doing to the body. Yes, okay, he's a bit stiff, right? And he was as I say, he was a bit flat-footed on the feet, right? You just want him to commit and throw the combinations. You know, when he throws the right hand, put a left hook behind it, put another right hand, whipping an uppercut. The uppercut was working well in close, but you just want to see him have that confidence to throw. And it is a confidence thing, because no matter how successful you are, if you lose 2 in a row and you've got so much to lose and everyone's on your back for the slightest thing, you will be a bit cautious. He's got more to lose than he did do 5 years ago. You know, he's got more businesses, he's got more eyes on him. You know, people are always expecting of him. So he is going to be a bit cautious, right? This is a new AJ. It's not the AJ of 6 years ago or 5 years ago or 7 years ago. It's a new version of Anthony Joshua. And so what? We can still enjoy it. We can still watch it. He can still be in fascinating fights. Will he get beat? Probably. Can he win fights that you might not think he will? Absolutely. It's sexy. Let's enjoy it. Let's put the big fights together, right? But I just think there's a lot of overreaction here, right? And cause for retirement is just premature. It's a load of bullshit. It's just bullshit. Let's see the fights. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was a good performance from AJ? Do you think he's shot to pieces? Could he win a world title again? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.